Hello everyone, greetings from VNR JYOTHI Institute of Engineering and Technology. This is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Data Science and AIDS. In this session, I am going to discuss about the concept of data link layer switching techniques. Data link layer switching techniques. So in the previous sessions, we have discussed about the data link layer and the responsibilities of data link layer, what are the protocols involved in the data link layer, and what are the error correction techniques, error detection techniques in the data link layer. Now we will see the concept of switching. In the data link layer, switching is a process of selecting the best route, that is the best channel, selecting best route or best channel for data transmission among multiple paths from sender to receiver. So when we are having multiple paths from the sender to receiver, when we are having multiple paths from the sender to receiver to transmit the data, so selecting the best route, selecting the best channel. So that is the process called switching. That is the process called switching. So when you want to travel from a source to destination, when you want to travel from a college to some other home places, you can choose the best route. You can choose the best route via Rapido, or you can choose the best route via the bus. Either you can choose the best route from your car or whatever it may be. So here the switching is nothing but the selecting the best route for the data transmission among multiple paths. So switching techniques can be used to connect the systems for making one-to-one communication. So switching technique is used to connect the systems for making one-to-one communication. So we need to communicate all the systems, right? One system can communicate with the other system. So how it communicates, in what way, in which is the best route to communicate to other system. That is the switching concept here. So here by the main purpose of introducing this concept is what to communication, direct communication or dedicated communication to the particular source or destination, particular system or second system. So now if you see this, we are having a number of switching techniques. There are, the first one is what? Circuit switching. First one is what? Circuit switching. And second one is what? Message switching. Second one is what? Message switching. Third one is what? Packet switching. So in the circuit switching, there are two types of the space division switches as well as time division switches. And the second one is what? Message switching. And third one is what? Packet switching. So in this datagram approach is one type of, and the second one is what? Virtual circuit approach. In this switched virtual circuit SVC and permanent virtual circuit PVC. So let us discuss one by one each in detail. The first one is what? Circuit switching. The switching mechanism works in the flow of in the circuit manner. The switching mechanism will works in the flow of circuit manner. So here the circuit switching is a switching technique that establishes a dedicated path between sender and receiver. So dedicated path between sender and receiver. In generally electronic circuits are there. So how the circuits are maintaining the connection? So they are giving the direct path between the sender to receiver. They are giving the direct path between the single first connection to second connection, right? So here the circuit switching is a switching technique that establishes a dedicated path between sender and receiver. The circuit switching in a network operates in similar ways as the telephone works. So how the telephone works? The same way circuit switching is in the network operator, it works. So the telephone working principle is an example of the circuit switching network operating principle. Circuit switching is used in public telephone network. It is used for voice transmission. So in this technique, when any user wants to send the data, voice, a video or a request signal has to send first. So whenever the sender wants to send the data or voice or video or request, you need to send the request signal. First he need to send the request signal to the receiver. Then the receiver sends back the acknowledgement to the sender, whether he is available or not, whether he is able to receive or not. So that acknowledgement has to send to the sender side. So now the receiver sends back the acknowledgement to ensure the availability of the dedicated path. So receiver knows that the dedicated path is available or not, whether it is free or not. So then receiver sends acknowledgement to the sender that whether the availability of the dedicated path is there. So now he sends that availability of the dedicated path is available. After receiving the acknowledgement, the dedicated path transfer the data. So here sender sending the message, sender sending the request signal, sender sending the request signal to the receiver, receiver sends acknowledgement about the availability of the path, availability of the dedicated path available or not. So dedicated path related availability is there or not. He sends the acknowledgement. He receives the acknowledgement now. Now through this receiving acknowledgement, dedicated path transfers the messages. Dedicated path transfers the messages. So communication through circuit switching has three phases. First one is what? Circuit establishment. By sending the acknowledgement, by sending the signal, request signal, the circuit establishment is done. Once the acknowledgement received by the sender side, the data will be transferred. Data will be transferred. After receiving the data to the receiver side, the circuit will be disconnected. Circuit will be disconnected. So whenever the sender wants to send the data, first he sends the request signal, then receiver sends acknowledgement to the sender side. Now the in between them dedicated path is established. So now you can able to transfer the data transfer. So once the data transfer is over, again the circuit will be disconnected. Circuit will be disconnected. So this is the process of switching in the circuit switching concept. The main advantage of circuit switching is the communication channel is dedicated. That means the dedicated path is available. Dedicated path is available. So through this dedicated path, they can able to communicate very easily and they can able to communicate very fastly also. And it has a fixed bandwidth. And it has a fixed bandwidth. And disadvantage is the once the dedicated path is established, the only delay occurs in the speed of data transmission. Only occurs in the delay of the speed of data transmission occurs. So once it is established, it may be either in the slow or fast, whatever it may be. When it is comes to the slow, then the delay occurs, the speed of data transmission. Thus data is to be weighted. The data is to be weighted. So that is the disadvantage. And second one is what? Message switching. So message switching is a switching technique in which message is transferred as complete unit and routed through intermediate nodes. Routed through intermediate nodes at which it is stored and forward. At which it is stored and forward. So whenever it wants to send a message, it can store and forward through all the nodes. Through all the nodes, it store and forward. So in message switching technique, there is no establishment of dedicated path between the sender and receiver. So in the circuit switching, dedicated path is established between the sender and receiver. Because of the dedicated path, direct transmission will be available. But in this message switching, dedicated path is not available. Each and every node is connected with another nodes. The message is stored at the node and forwarded to the next node. Stored at the node and forwarded to the next node. Stored at this node and forwarding to the next node. Like this message switching works. So here each and every node stores the entire message and then forward it to the next node. This type of network is known as store and forward networks. Store and forward networks. So here if you see the example A and B, the receiver and sender receiver. So sender sends the message through to the nodes. Node can store the message and forward the message. Node can store the message and forward the message. Node can store the message and forward the message. Like this, the message will be stored and forward manner it works. The advantage of message switching is what? Data channels are shared among the communicating device that improves the efficiency because every node maintains the information about the message as well as the other node. Right. So because of that, data channels are shared among the communication devices. And disadvantage is what? The message switches must be equipped with sufficient storage. So storage is required. So message switches must be equipped with sufficient storage because we need to maintain all the nodes information. We need to maintain all the nodes information. So it is requiring more. It is requiring more sufficient storage. And third one is what? Packet switching. So packet switching is a technique in which the message is sent one way. In message is sent one way, but it is divided into smaller pieces. The entire packet 1, 2, 3, 4 is the packet. Suppose the entire message, entire packet will be divided into smaller pieces and they are sent individually. They are sent individually. So individual packet will be sent to the destination side or through the nodes. The message splits into the smaller piece known as packets. This entire message is splitted into smaller pieces known as packets, and packets are given a unique number. Each and every packet having a separate unique number, P1, P2, P3, like that. Each and every packet have a unique number, unique ID to identify their order at the receiving end. to identify their order at the receiver end. So in the receiver side, which packet may arrive first, which packet may arrive second. So to identify them, each and every packet having their own ID, that is one identifier, one unique identifier, that is the packet received by the receiver side. So the packets will travel across the network taking the shortest path as possible. So when the packets are transferring to the receiver side, it takes the maximum shortest path. If any packet is missing or corrupted, then the message will be sent to the resend the message. So to the sender, the receiver sends resend that packet, resend that message, because I lost the message or packet. If the correct order of the packets is reached, then the acknowledgement message will be sent by the receiver. So if the packet is not received properly, if any missed packet is received properly, then it is asking you to send one more time, resending the message. If it is receiving the correct order of the packet reached, then the acknowledgement of the message will be sent. So there are two approaches of packet switching. The first one is what? Datagram packet switching, and second one is what? Virtual circuit switching. So in the datagram packet switching technology, the which packet is known as datagram. So in a packet switching technology, in which packet is known as datagram. So in the packet switching, it is coming as packet, but in the datagram packet switching, the packet is called as datagram. So each packet contains the information about the destination, and the switch uses this information forward the packet to the correct destination. So each packet contains the destination address, right? And the switch uses this information to forward the packet to the correct destination. So because of this packet contain the correct destination address, the switch uses this information to forward the packet to the correct destination. So in datagram packet switching technique, the path is not fixed. Because the datagrams are always roaming in the not fixed manner, right? So their path is not at all fixed. And datagram packet switching is also known as connectionless switching. It is also known as connectionless switching because all the datagrams are moving around the side, right? So it is not having the dedicated path. So direct path. They can use in different direction. And intermediate nodes take the routing decisions to forward the packets. So intermediate nodes will be taking the routing decisions to forward the packets. Which packet to forwarding the which route, right? Like that. So this is the packet switching. And virtual circuit switching. So virtual circuit switching is also known as connection oriented switching. So here virtual packet switching is what? Datagram packet switching is what? The connectionless switching, and here virtual circuit switching is called as connection oriented switching. In this case, the path is fixed. For the duration of the logical connection. So entire logical connection, the path is fixed. So out of this entire connection is established, using the dedicated path is fixed. So in this case, call request and call accept packets are used to establish the connection between sender and receiver. So to enable the connection between the sender and receiver, call request and call accept packets are used to establish the connection between sender and receiver. So here let's understand the concepts of virtual circuit switching through a diagram. So here the sender and receiver. Whenever sender wants to connect with the receiver, first sender sends a call request message to the receiver. Now receiver receives this message, call will be accepted. Now the sender transfer the data to the call receiver side, that is receiver. Now receiver sends acknowledgements and using the further purpose of channeling, then it is okay. After the acknowledgement received, it uses for some time. After that, once their usage is over, the clear signal will be sent to the receiver. That I have utilized the connection in proper way. So now I am going to terminate the connection. Please clear the signal. Then the clear message sent to the receiver side. Once it is received by the receiver side, now he can clear the signal. So this is the steps we have to understand. In this above diagram, A and B are the sender and receiver perfectly. 1 and 2 are the nodes. 1 and 2 are the nodes. These two are the nodes. Right? Through these nodes, how they are communicated. So call request and call APCET packets are used to establish a connection between sender and receiver. When a route is established, data will be transferred. After transmission of data, an acknowledgement signal is sent by the receiver that the message has been received. If the user wants to terminate the connection, a clear signal sent for the termination. So that is the principle that that the diagram contains. That the diagram packet switching contains. And the advantage of this virtual circuit switching techniques were cost effective and reliable and efficiency. So because of this switching mechanism is implemented in very easy. Because of this cost effective is one of the feature, one of the advantage. And disadvantage of packet switching is packet switching techniques cannot be implemented in those applications that require low delay and high quality services. So low delay and high quality services may not be accepted for the packet switching techniques. And the protocols used in packet switching techniques are very complex. Protocols used in packet switching techniques are very complex and requires high implementation cost. So because of this somewhat computational cost is very important factor. That is one of the disadvantage of packet switching. So these are all the switching techniques that we can understand. So total overall, how many switching techniques are there? So out of these, the circuit switching is one of the technique, message switching is one of the technique, and packet switching is one of the techniques. So the switching main comes here for the importance of to choose the correct direction, correct dedicated path between the sender and receiver. So this is the circuit switching techniques about all the things. Thank you all.